ref's supposed to be doing it, ref Clark. But, anyway, if not, we'll ride solo. Good evening and welcome to TIO NTFL's coverage of the 2022-23 TIO NTFL Men's Premier League season. Tonight's match between Nightcliff and Wanderers. Wanderers come into the game in 8th place on the table and Nightcliff in 6th, so both teams needing a win. My name's Stu Davis, and conditions have been pretty wet all day, but dried up in the last couple of hours or so, and the ground looks to be in pretty good nick, so looking for a really good contest here tonight as Wanderers are kicking to the right of screen, the airport end at TIO Stadium here, but ball's been worked down to half forward, and it's at Nightcliff with the first opportunity with a shot on goal, but just offline to the right, and pretty quick ball movement there, but just missing the opportunity as Mitchell Taylor brings it in short into the back pocket and finds his co-captain in Braden McLean. Just gave that one a bit too much air and allowed the Nightcliff defence to come in, but Wanderers now trying to work it out. Brody Philo gets involved for Nightcliff outside 50. He kicks long into the centre corridor. The ball spills out the back where Newman tidies up for Wanderers and kicks high and long outside of defensive 50 there, and Wanderers the opportunity to go forward again as they work the ball along the wing where Stephen Motlop gets on the end of this one. He kicks long into a pretty open forward line, but working back well was the Nightcliff defence, and Luke Wines got back, got a fist to the ball and knocked it over the boundary line, so it'll be a boundary throw in the right forward pocket for Nightcliff, and their first foray forward and first opportunity to score. So the big fella uncontested in the ruck there was Jackson Locke, just knocked it down at his own feet, but not to anyone's advantage. Bo O'Connell got involved, got the quick hand pass back to Shane Thorne. Thorne's high kick inside forward 50, just knocked forward in the marking contest. Cameron Eilert tidies up for Nightcliff there and clears it out of defence, but it's coming back and back in the hands of Thorne again. Tries a drill pass, but only to the chest of Ryan Nyhouse. Nyhouse chips in short to Hartlett. He's called to play on, and he chips out wider in defence, and Nightcliff have got some space on the outer side, but that kick's just fallen short and given Wanderers the opportunity to come in. O'Connell's in there again and now kicks long towards goal, but just hooked that one a bit and missed it left. So first score on the board for Wanderers, and one behind a piece at the 2.5 minute mark of the first quarter. Ryan Nyhouse bringing the ball out of defence and had a bounce earlier. Now he's travelled some distance, but play on's the call as he drills it straight up the line and finds Cameron Eilert. Eilert goes short out wide, and Nightcliff again just looking at options to go forward, and eventually had a running player with the hand pass, and now long down towards half forward in the marking contest down there for Nightcliff was Harry Butler. Couldn't take the mark, and the ball eventually is knocked out over the boundary line, and it'll be a boundary throw in at half forward for Nightcliff. Simpson doing the ruck work for Wanderers in front. Coming over the top was Butler. At ground level, Simpson ball falls into Simpson's hands, and he just gets it on the left foot out there. But now Nightcliff an opportunity coming in. The kick's just overcooked a bit, slips out the back, and Brody Newman again will tidy up for Wanderers. He chips the ball out here looking for Thomas Motlop. It's just a bit over his head, and a good contest for the ball down there by Damon Craik. Centres it into the corridor, but tidied up and cleared away by DeSantos for Wanderers, and then just tapped over the boundary line for a boundary throw in by the big ruckman Jackson Locke. So 1 point apiece, 4 minutes into this first quarter. No wind at all, as looking at the flags out on the outer side of the ground. So a still night, but pretty muggy, and the clearance for Nightcliff by Bailey Edwards gets it deep inside forward 50. Newman got his hands to the ball, got tackled straight away, and it'll be a ball up inside forward 50 for Nightcliff. Butler again doing the ruck work, reaches over the top and wins the tap down, but the ball spills into the hands there of Ryan Moo, and his left foot snap at goal just drifted across the face and through for another behind. So Braden McLean to bring it in, and he goes outer side of the ground, and that's a good kick and a good mark out wide, as Wanderers just looking to chip it around now. Oh, that's a missed kick, gives Nightcliff the opportunity inside forward 50, as they now kick high and long into the goal scare. Newman in his normal role tidying up in the back half, and just reads the ball well and chips it out wide here, and Wanderers the opportunity to build from defence as Shane Thorne gets on the end of this one. He's had a few touches early, and now he switches back into the centre corridor, where he's found Marlon Motlop, and Marlon Motlop chips wide to Brody Newman once again. Newman straight up the ground, and he hits Arbin, and Wanderers just chipping it around back half here. Marlon Motlop once again, but just hasn't got too much to go to forward, so eventually decides to go long down to half forward, but Hartlett coming in there for Nightcliff just tries to force it forward. The ball's caught in underneath here, and it'll be a ball up once again. So the ball just between wing and half forward for Wanderers, kicking towards the airport end of the ground. Simpson doing the ruck work, tapped it forward, and now he taps it out to the advantage of his teammate here, Chris Curran, who wheels around, gets a handball out, and a drill pass forward is effective, and Wanderers the chance to go inside forward 50 once again. Some body work off the ball there, play on's the call, and it spills to Bailey Edwards, who kicks back inside, but not the tidiest of kicks, and gives the Wanderers midfielders an opportunity, but bursting through there is Hartlett, but his hand pass just missed the target, and falls in the hands there of Brody Newman, who's wrapped up in the tackle, and it'll be a ball up once again. So Simpson doing the ruck work, taps it down there to Curran. Curran kicks long towards half forward, where Marlon Motlop toe pokes it forward, but Nyhouse in that half-back role just reads it well, and then chips it to Sam Harper in the middle of the ground. Harper again went to look short and missed the target, and now gives Wanderers the opportunity to come through again through the hands from Dos Santos, and now the kick inside forward 50, and the mark's taken about 40 metres out, pretty much directly in front, and will be the first chance for a set shot on goal, and it's Tyson White who's taken that mark, and had a look around, but eventually decided that he'll go back and take the shot at goal. So White just crosses the paint of the 50-metre line, kicks on the way, looks pretty good. It's a strong kick straight through the middle, straight over the goal umpire's head, and the first goal of the game goes to Wanderers and Tyson White, and a pretty good build-up there, capitalising on the mistakes of the Nightcliff players coming out of defence, just not finding targets, and then good attack on the ball, and the kick inside by Jack Burke found White in space, as you see on the replay there, and he went back and settled, and a nice set shot goal. So Wanderers first goal on the board, and they lead by 5 points as we cross the 9-minute mark of the first quarter. So from the restart, Adams up against Locke, but it's Wanderers who've won the clearance, but there's going to be a free kick here, and it's going to come back. It's going to be a Wanderers free kick in the centre of the ground. It's deemed to be no advantage with that kick inside 50, so it's Chris Curran, I think you'll find, who's will take the free kick. And now he goes long inside forward 50. No mark taken, the hand pass comes out, but that one's intercepted. It's Nightcliff trying to work it through the hands, and Craik gets a kick forward on the left, just forward of centre now, and strong tackling there by Brody Newman. Just wrapped up Butler in the tackle, and no opportunity to get rid of that ball, and so the ball up once again as Philo receives from the hit out, just dribbles a kick forward, but Wanderers had the opportunity to clear it out. There's quick hands out there, and now Nightcliff back inside the corridor as McLean just toe pokes it off the ground laterally, and there's a contest over the ball once again as Edwards just chips the ball in and finds the big fella Butcher at full forward. So Big John Butcher, with his first touch for the game, takes that mark about 30 metres out on about a 45-degree angle on the outer side of TIO Stadium, and he'll have the first set shot for Nightcliff in this game. It's on the way now. Goal umpire's doing a bit of work, and he's missed that one to the right, so another opportunity goes begging for Nightcliff as Wanderers through Mitch Taylor just looking to set something up to bring the ball out of defence. He's urging players to run across to the grandstand side. That's the way he wants to go. He runs on now and kicks long and high outside outside of defensive 50, and now Marlon Motlop through the hands, and good use of the hands, and kick forward by Boys for Wanderers. Oh, there's heavy body contact there, and that'll be a Nightcliff free kick in the back half, taken down there by Bowles, it looked like, who's not appearing on my team sheet, but looks like he's an inclusion for them as that kick goes forward. Philo over the top of that one just loses control in the traffic, and Wanderers work it through the hands. Kevin Smith-Thompson kicks long down towards half forward. Again, just a bit scrappy on the ground at the moment as Nightcliff tidy up across half back and just settle things down now. They've got a player out around the outer side, and Wines takes that mark. He's looking to chip inboard. He does so, and Cameron Eilert had some space inside and takes the mark only about 15 metres away. He's looking to go short again, straight up the ground, just over the head of his intended target there, but picked up and kicked forward by Moo, but chopped off in defence by Dos Santos for Wanderers, and they take it around the outer side of the ground, and again just settling things down. Not many options forward of play here, and going short again, and this time Boys takes the mark just on the centre wing on the outer side of the ground. He's kicking to congestion again. The ball finds its way over the back as O'Connell tries to run onto it, toe pokes it forward, and again, and for a third time keeps it in front of him, and now it takes possession, has a snapshot at goal from about 25 out, but just couldn't bring it back far enough and misses out to the right. So a behind to Wanderers, and as we approach the 14-minute mark of the first quarter, just the one goal on the board, and It's Wanderers who hold the lead. Nightcliff have worked this one out of defence. Big Lock got his hands to it, couldn't take the mark, but hand passed over the top to Moody, running into some space. He finds Butcher inside the corridor, wheels around now and kicks long and high inside forward 50, but again no marking contest there. Edwards comes in, gets a hand pass over. Wilson is caught with the ball as soon as he put his hands on it. The ball spills out the back now, and some strong tackling down there. This time it was Mitch Taylor, and he'll be rewarded for that tackle as the ball spilled out. And just again chipping the ball around the outer side of the ground. This time longer along the wing, and working his way to the front down there was Stephen Motlop. Took a good mark now. He plays on, wheels around on the inside. He's got free players in the middle, chips it across to Thorne. Thorne goes by hand over the top, and Wanderers going long inside forward 50. This time the ball spills over the back. Here's an opportunity for goal. Oh, I'm not sure he got a foot to that one, but the goal umpire says he did. But almost made a meal of it, but the goal was there in the end, and I think that was Jack Burke running onto that one. As we watch the replay, the ball gets over the top, and the Wanderers players reacted best, as is Burke running in, and that was a close call as to whether it was above or below the knee, but the goal has been paid, and Burke is on the board for Wanderers, and they've got the first two of the game. So Nightcliff, of course, have been one of the pace setters in the competition for the last 4 years. They won the 3 premierships in a row and were top of the table for most of last season before crashing out in the finals. But they find themselves in unusual territory this year, having lost their last 3 games, and would be desperate for a win today, as Cameron Eilert gets a hand pass across to Edwards. Again, he chips inside forward 50. Taylor in defence just hacks it out of there, straight up the middle of the ground, but Nightcliff first to the ball, and the chip kick across from Walker just misses the target, and Shane Thorne does well. And now Wanderers another chance to go inside forward 50. A pretty open forward line. Thomas Motlop and Stephen Motlop down there working. Stephen Motlop just picks it up, wheels around, hooks back towards goal. It looks pretty good. I think it is good. It's gone straight through the middle, so a fantastic finish out there by Stephen Motlop. Just found himself in some space. Nightcliff didn't really close down on him too much and allowed him to wheel around, and of course he's a class player just out of the AFL and knows where the goals are, and no problem for Stephen Motlop to get himself on the board. And this is a fantastic start. Coach Aaron Motlop will be pretty happy with the start that they've made, kicking the first 3 goals of the game. So yeah, Nightcliff in the early stages of this game, staring down the barrel of their 4th loss in a row, and not the position they're used to finding themselves in recent years. But there's a tackle that I think the hand is strayed over the top, and Chris Curran will take the free kick for Wanderers, and he hands it off to McLean. McLean goes down the line. Working back there is Nyhouse for Nightcliff, and now he chips inboard to Philo. Philo is looking to go lateral again, and he does. The ball's out in front of Wines out there, takes it on the bounce, and now kicks it around the outer side of the ground, but trying to work the ball back inside was Nick Howe, but in doing so ran himself over the boundary line, and it'll be a boundary throw in on the outer side centre wing. So you're watching AFLNT's coverage of the 2022-23 TIO NTFL season from TIO Stadium here in Darwin in Larrakia country, as the boundary throw-in comes in. But it's Nightcliff first hands on the ball and attempt to go forward again, just trapped by the foot by Braden McLean there, and then tackled high in the follow-up action, and he'll just steady things with the chip pass out wide. So again, they're pretty well clogged up forward, but Shane Thorne finds some space, and he's been busy early in this game, had several touches up around the wing areas, but hasn't got much that he likes ahead of him at the moment, and has changed his mind 2 or 3 times before just bombing it long to half forward. It's thumped away from behind and running onto it. Down here is Harper, couldn't pick it up, but running in there for Wanderers was Arben, and he just fumbled the ball across the boundary line, and another boundary throw in. See that the replay of that tackle there, not much doubt about that free kick. As from the boundary throw in, it's Hartlett who reads it off the hands of the ruckman and kicks long inside forward 50, but Mitch Taylor in best position down there just worked his opponent Butcher out of the way and chips the ball across to Curran. Curran calling players to run towards him on the grandstand side here, and his kick is good to Bo O'Connell just backward of the wing in front of the Wanderers coach's box. He decides to go backwards again, and he finds Mitch Taylor, who looks like he hurt himself in the action there, and now he chips the ball back to Daniel Wheatra, and Wanderers have switched it all the way across to the outer side of the ground and found players in space. Brody Newman goes short and hits Curran there. Curran goes out towards the boundary on the outer side, but Nightcliff have chopped this one off, and Nyhouse chips it into Philo. It's a bit stop-start at the moment, the game, as Philo finds Wilson in a bit of space about 20 metres further forward, and now Wilson going long, looking for the one-on-one contest, but Wanderers have had a couple of players work their way back to help out. Ball at ground level, good hand pass out, and a quick kick forward by Howe to the top of the goal square. The ball's loose, and under pressure down there, Matthew Motlop was prepared to hand pass the ball through and concede a behind, so a rush behind as Braden McLean brings the ball in and goes straight up the middle of the ground to Bo O'Connell, who takes off now with no one standing the mark, ducks past one, runs himself into trouble, but gets the hand pass across to Ankin Lewis, but his kick isn't the best, and that's cut off by Caleb Walker for Nightcliff, and he's looking to go short inside the centre square where Philo had a little bit of space. He's called to play on now, but gets around the player on the mark, kicks long straight down the middle of the ground. Again, there's congestion down there, but the intercept marking power of Wanderers is showing through early in the quarter as Newman got the ball across there to Arben, and Wanderers just chip it again out of defence as McLean hits up Matthew Motlop, who goes out wide again to Arben on the outer side, and Arben chips along the line and finds Ed Simpson. So just the 3 goals in this first quarter as the clock ticks past the 22-minute mark. Probably wouldn't be too much more action in this quarter, and just get the impression that Wanderers are happy to wind the clock down and then reset themselves at quarter time with a pretty handy lead. So now they're inside 50. The ball spills over the pack and running towards the boundary line. Thomas Motlop couldn't reel it in, and it'll be a boundary throw in just a couple of metres around from the left-hand behind post at the airport end of the ground, and a stoppage in Wanderers forward line, which could give them the opportunity to score again late in this first quarter. Butler does the ruck work for Nightcliff, hits it to advantage. There's going to be a free kick paid here, and that'll be Gow who will take the free kick for Nightcliff deep in defence, and he's looking to switch the ball grandstand side where he's got a player in some space out here, and that's Stanley Cox who takes that mark. He chips the ball inboard and finds his teammate there in Bailey Edwards. Comes grandstand side again. Locke gets his hands to the ball, but it's knocked away. Some good work at ground level down there by Dos Santos, but Nightcliff have won it back here, and Hartlett gets a hand pass out as he's caught in the tackle, and the siren goes to end this first quarter, a quarter in which Wanderers have scored the only 3 goals, and at quarter time it's Wanderers 3-2-20, leading Nightcliff 4 behinds. We'll be back shortly with the second quarter.
To the left of your radio they go.
Wow, what a goal to start the game.
Picked up by Makar. Beautiful. Goes for home and it's nailed an absolute ripsaw. From the pocket and he's kicked an absolute ripper.
Welcome back to TIO Stadium for AFLNT's coverage of the 2022-23 Men's Premier League, where this round 9 clash sees Nightcliff up against Wanderers, and it's Wanderers who've had the early running, scoring the only 3 goals of the first quarter and going into the second quarter with a 16-point lead as Bo O'Connell immediately wins the clearance for Wanderers, gets it down inside forward 50. Nyhouse backhands it outside defensive 50 as it's picked up down there by Cox with the hand pass backwards, but Wanderers have chopped this one off again, and the kick comes high inside 50 again. Cameron Eilert gets on the end of this one and now drills the ball away around the outer side of the ground, but Wanderers have got the numbers out there as Simpson gets it out of the back of the pack and hacks the ball back close to the boundary line, and in fact it bounces over for another boundary throw in. So as I said earlier, it's 6th against 8th here, and a win is a must for both sides as they strive to keep in contention with the top 5 in this very strong NTFL competition. It's an even competition this year, so wins are hard to come by. You have to play pretty well as Wheatra hooks that one around inside forward 50. Motlop takes it. He's called to play on. Hooks over the top. It's bouncing towards goal. I think he might have put it through. No, just missed out to the right-hand side. I think Motlop thought he'd taken a mark there, but perhaps was touched off the boot, and so the play-on call was pretty quick, and he got the snapshot in, but just didn't score on that occasion, so couldn't bring it back far enough as Ryan Nyhouse brings the ball back in long outside defensive 50, but Ed Simpson in best position there, used his body well and takes the mark, kicks the ball inside forward 50 in the corridor, but the mark got taken. Now Thomas Motlop on the outside of the boot has just pulled that one back too far and drifted across the face and through for a behind, signalled by goal umpire Jenny Rowe down there. So Nyhouse again will bring the ball back into play, going short this time, and just on the half volley it's picked up out there by Bailey Edwards. He swings around and kicks wide to the outer side of the ground, but too wide, and in fact it's gone out of bounds on the full, and Brodie Newman will retrieve it from over the fence and bring it back into play. Newman kicks long now from the marking contest. Daniel Wheatra gets a hand pass out wide, looking there for Curran, but just missed the target there, and again the ball finds its way over the boundary line, and another boundary throw in about 30 metres around from the Wanderers goal. Wanderers kicking to the Michael Long centre end, which is left of screen here, and Marlon Motlop gets the hand pass out the back through the hands. It's worked to O'Connell. O'Connell swings the ball around. That's a pretty good shot on goal, I think. Umpire Jenny Rowe likes it, and it's through for a goal for Wanderers, and they've really taken the game from Nightcliff in the early stages of this second quarter as O'Connell gets on the board for his first goal, and yeah, Nightcliff really with the work to do early in this second quarter as Wanderers kick out to a 4-goal lead. See changes being made on the bench as Politis comes on for Nightcliff and makes his way forward, but they really need to start getting their hands on the ball in the middle of the ground here and give themselves an opportunity to get the ball in quickly and get some score on the board. So at the 4-minute mark of this second quarter, it's Wanderers 4-4 leading Nightcliff 4 points. So Big Lock gets his hand to the ball for Nightcliff, but they're just struggling to get it out of the centre now as Philo gets it through the hands, and eventually the kick forward by Gow gets to half forward where the ball spills to the ground, but there's a tackle there that's high on Braden McLean, and he'll take the free kick at centre half back. He's got a free player straight up the corridor, and that's Marlon Motlop who takes that mark sliding on his knees. McLean has run on again and receives further to the outer side of the ground, and now McLean chips the ball out wide where Arbin has found some space and goes around the boundary line. Mitchell Taylor's worked his way from fullback out to the wing out there, and he takes a mark, looking to switch inboard now, and Shane Thorne's found space. So using the ball pretty effectively here, but not getting too far up the ground. Or that's a loose hand pass from Thorne, and gives Nightcliff the opportunity to get back involved. Locke picks it up and gets a hand pass back, and now kick out towards the grandstand side here is marked by Politis. Politis has a player free around the boundary line as Sean Wilson runs up and takes the mark. He's trying to direct traffic inside forward 50 here. The kick's just fallen short of his intended target there, and Wanderers again swooping back to defend, and McLean again receives a high tackle, and he'll take the free kick about 35 metres out from his defensive goal. Chips the ball inboard and finds Arbin. Nathan Arbin goes long to the outer wing. Nightcliff players working back there, but under plenty of pressure. Eventually it's picked up by Jay Moody, and he got tackled high and will take the free kick. So Moody for Nightcliff. Again, no urgency to move the ball forward as Wanderers have worked back pretty well in numbers. And now kick comes out to towards half forward. There's a whistle on the play there. It's going to be a free kick to Eilert for Nightcliff, and he gets the ball long inside forward 50 quickly. Hartlett came out, couldn't hold on to the mark, manages to keep it in play now, and before going to ground, and the ball slips out the back with the hand pass over the top from Harper, but he had no target there, and probably the result was as good as he could hope for as it bounced over the boundary line just in front of 3 Wanderers players. So Wanderers by 24 points, almost 7 minutes into this second quarter. So Adams doing the ruck work for Wanderers. Ball spills out where Newman just tidies up and hacks it out of that defensive 50. Stephen Motlop cleverly tapped it over the top and then toe pokes it forward. He's going to be first to it again, and again kicks off the ground, advances at about 35 or 40 metres, and they've worked the ball forward of centre wing before it goes out of bounds for another boundary throw in. Adams in the ruck for Wanderers, and Locke for Nightcliff. Locke works his way to the front, gets the tap down where Harper retrieved and hand passed inboard, but again couldn't hit the target, and allows Wanderers the opportunity to work the ball inside forward 50 once again. Now Nightcliff trying to work it through the hands as Nyhouse gets it over the top here, but an uncustomary fumble from Wilson, and it's Wanderers who get it back inside forward 50 towards the top of the goal square. The ball close to the boundary line. Motlop hand passes over his head, but couldn't keep it in play. And it's another boundary throw in the left forward pocket for Wanderers. So the ball slips over the back, and Nyhouse receives the hand pass and then clears away through the hands out there. It's taken by Butcher, who's worked his way right up the ground to get involved in the action, and now the kick coming forward hits Howe on the chest. He gets hands over, and Philo has a player running into some space. That's Crake out there, runs onto it now, kicks on the left towards goal, but just couldn't bring it back far enough, unfortunately for Nightcliff, and through for a behind. But a promising build-up from Nightcliff, but just not the finish they were looking for as McLean brings it in. And again, it's pretty loose checking defensively by Nightcliff as Arbin gets another touch, and he chips out to McLean, who's run forward again. He hand passes over the top back to Arbin, and now Arbin thumps it around the outer side wing. The mark spilled out there. Thomas Motlop just hand passes to the advantage of his teammate, but just couldn't take it cleanly, got worried out of it, and now the kick comes inside forward 50. Stephen Motlop works his opponent under the ball and then runs back onto it, but playing for a free kick, I think, down there, not going to get it, and it's going to be a boundary throw in once again. Stephen Motlop can't believe that he's not winning the free kick there, but didn't look to be too much in it to me. So from the boundary throw in, Adams hooks it over the back. Running onto it there was Thorne. He dives forward, picked up and snapped towards goal by Butson, but it's chopped off this time by Vile, and looks like there will be a 50-metre penalty here for just running over the mark, a bit over zealous on the mark, and it's Ben Vile who will advance the ball down to half-back. He hand passes off and Nightcliff go wide to the outer side of the ground. Just chipping forward and running in here and taking a diving mark is Nick Howe. He goes close to the boundary line again and finds Hartlett on the outer side of the ground. He wheels inboard, but the kick just falls short of his forwards down there, and Politis got worried out of it, and now Butler gets tackled with the ball, and it's adjudged to be incorrect disposal, so it's Brodie Newman who's now called to play on. He was looking to come inboard, but in the end went around the outer side of the ground. The ball loose on the ground at the moment as Philo gets a quick hand pass forward, then receives back, and now on the left foot kicks long inside forward 50. Ball slips over the back. Mitch Taylor's going to be first there for Wanderers, but loses his footing and gives Mood the opportunity. He comes in, swings around towards goal, but again Brodie Newman working back and reading it, takes another intercept mark, and he chips into the back pocket where Matthew Motlop takes the mark and swings the ball around the outer side, and the big fella Jaden Adams takes a nice mark at half back on the outer side of the ground. He's got something he likes over the top, and that's a good kick to Dos Santos, who hands it off to Arbin, and Wanderers working the ball down to half forward. Ball spilled in the marking contest down there, but coming back strongly to lay the tackle was Jack Burke, but it's just held in and will be a ball up just inside the 50-metre line in Wanderers' attacking area. So Eilert on the end of that looking to give to Philo, but Philo goes to ground, and now Eilert comes in. He's tackled with the ball. Good work through the hands, and now chance for Nightcliff to run it out of defence as Philo gets on the end of it again and chips out wide, but ball knocked out of the marking contest and over the boundary line, and a boundary throw in on the centre wing on the outer side of the ground. So 13 minutes into this second quarter at TIO Stadium. Just the one goal for the quarter so far scored by Wanderers, and Nightcliff yet to register a major as the hand pass comes out here to Butts, and he's swung around 180 degrees but got his hand pass out the back eventually, and Wanderers looking to go forward, but the hand pass missed, and just a little bit untidy at the moment in this late game at TIO Stadium. So Simpson and Locke doing battle. O'Connell read it, and then the ball slipped out of his hands. Now gets swung around in the tackle, got his hand pass forward, and Simpson on the left foot hacks it forward. Coming in down there for Wanderers was Burke. His kick goes forward, but the mark's spilt, and now Nightcliff under some pressure, but worked the ball with a series of handballs, and Philo ends up on the end of it. That's a dangerous kick into the corridor, but Nightcliff do have the numbers there if they can work it out, and they do eventually as the hand pass comes over the top, and Wines hacks it forward, but only as far as Big Ed Simpson in the middle of the ground, and Simpson goes long and direct straight down the ground. The ball's punched forward, and Nightcliff looking to work it out. Hartlett got caught with the ball. It spills out here to Tyson White, who has the shot on goal, and he's kicked truly for Wanderers' 5th goal. So untidy work for Nightcliff in the defensive area there, and Tyson White just got on the end of it and capitalised, as we see here, just trying to work through the hands, but they are under plenty of pressure and the ball spilled out. White just picked it up and kicked at goal and kicked accurately. So a big lead for Wanderers in this second quarter. 15 minutes into the second quarter, they've stretched that lead out to 29 points, and as I've said before, Nightcliff yet to register a goal, and they're really looking a shell of the side, the powerhouse side that they've been for the last 4 seasons under coach Chris Bax, and he'll be tearing his hair out, no doubt, as they seem to have lost their way a bit in the middle stages of this NTFL season. So ball forward to half forward, and Nightcliff now tidying up from defence, and getting on the end of that one is Craik. So Damon Craik at half-back kicks along the wing here. Butler in the marking contest. Taylor thumps it away. Sean, good hands to Butson over the top. It's tapped back out to the advantage of Butson. He's pushed out of the way close to the boundary line. Politis did really well there and got his kick forward, as running onto it down here with some strength. The ball's just spilt there, but Politis caught with the ball, loses it in the tackle, and he'll be penalised. Jay Moody was the player that attacked the ball fiercely, got the hand pass across, but it's Newman who's racking up the kicks in defence, who will take a free kick this time. He chips inboard to Mitch Taylor, and Wanderers happy just to move the ball slowly out of defence and try to build going forward as he goes long down the wing. Eilert over the top of it. Now the ball's dragged back in underneath, but I think it was his Wanderers opponent Boys who assisted in dragging it in, so it's a ball up once again. A real arm wrestle down there close to the boundary line as the ball spills out. Nathan Brown involved, and eventually it comes over to Butcher, and Butcher kicks long and high inside forward 50. Some one-on-one contests down there. The ball slips over the back, kicked off the ground down there by Moody, but it just goes across the face of goal and dribbles out of bounds in the left forward pocket. So another boundary throw in, this time in Nightcliff's forward pocket. See coach Chris Bax has made his way out of the coach's box and down onto the boundary line, trying to get his players to lift a bit down there. Getting on the end of that, the hand pass comes across from Howe, and now snap in towards goal, but it falls short, and Mitch Taylor positioned beautifully back there, and he chips it out to Curran in the back pocket for Wanderers. Curran drives the ball along the line here. It's a good kick, and he finds his teammate Thomas Boys. So Boys between half-back and wing, calling for players to lead towards him. O'Connell does now, but he ignores that and kicks long down the line instead, and the ball fisted out of there by Stanley Cox for Nightcliff and over the boundary line. And another boundary throw in as the clock approaches the 18.5-minute mark. Watching AFLNT's coverage of the 2022-23 TIO NTFL season live from TIO Stadium. And again, the ball caught in underneath from that ruck contest. It spills out now, and but plenty of players with their hands on the ball and bodies over the ball, and eventually the ball up will take place just forward of the centre wing. So no time wasted. It's thumped out of there, but Wanderers looking to work it through the hands, but eventually it falls into Nathan Brown's hands, and he kicks long down the line. Brody Newman, good use of the body down there, worked his opponent out of the way and then thumped it over the boundary line for another stoppage. And you get the sense that Wanderers are pretty happy with just the stoppages and restarting, as they've got control of this game, getting close to the time on period in the second quarter. So Butcher in front, gets the hands now, but just a bit hot for his teammate there as McLean gets a hand pass up to Butts and over to O'Connell. He finds a little bit of space and hooks around here where Thorne and Brown in the marking contest, and Thorne will win the free kick here for being held. So Shane Thorne has a free player in the middle of the ground. Big Adams there and passes inboard to O'Connell. O'Connell kicks long to a one-on-one deep inside forward 50. Nyhouse made best position, couldn't take the mark though, and hacked it off the ground, and now Stephen Motlock gets the hand pass backwards to Simpson. Simpson out wide to O'Connell. O'Connell on the left foot kicks high to the goal line. Some good work on the line down there by Daniel Wheatra, but unfortunately for Wanderers the bounce didn't favour them and just went across the face of goal and through for a behind, and Nightcliff bring it back into play as Wines comes down the grandstand side. Mark spilt there in the contest, and Nightcliff just working it into the corridor and then out wide to the outer side of the ground as in the one-on-one contest Sean Wilson was first to it but couldn't control it. Now some assistance comes in the form of Smith Thompson for Wanderers, but he couldn't control the ball either, and now Marlon Motlop just trying to pick up close to the boundary line, but he was under pressure and the ball forced over the boundary line for a boundary throw in. So just the 2 goals scored in this quarter, both of them of course by Wanderers, as we approach the 21.5 minute mark. I imagine there wouldn't be too much time on. The free kick's been paid in the ruck contest here, and Philo takes advantage, goes inside forward 50, but again misses the target going inside. Brody Newman working back there. He shovels it out between his legs at the back, and now a chance for Sean Wilson. Kicks on the outside of the boot towards goal. I think it might have just got over the head. In fact, it's just cannoned into the goalpost down there. So another opportunity missed for Nightcliff, and Wanderers bring it in quickly to Curran, who slows things down now. He's got Butson ahead of him, but Butson now makes the lead. He ignores that and goes longer around the wing where Simpson's got himself in front and takes a nice mark on the chest. He chips inboard, but there's a 50-metre penalty here for movement on the mark, I think. So Simpson will be marched up to the front of the centre square, and he looks to move the ball on quickly, and Stephen Motlop has just easily made himself some space down there, and he's marked right on the 50-metre line. So he's pretty close to the player on the mark. Looks like he's going to play on. He's called to play on now and kicks long towards goal, but that's offline, but I think that's just been marked inside the field of play as Nightcliff bring it out again. Philo kicks short to the outer side of the ground and then runs on and receives back, and now goes out wider where Wines has made some space. Philo again runs forward and gets on the end of it and chips the ball to Politis as the siren goes to end the second quarter, and one where Wanderers have just pressed their advantage again with the only 2 goals of the quarter, and has to be said that Nightcliff have been very disappointing to date. Just the 6 behinds on the board, and they really need to get in at half-time and regroup. So at half-time here at TIO Stadium, it's Wanderers 5-5-35 leading Nightcliff 6 points. We'll be back with the third quarter shortly.
Some plays there from the Tigers back line then.
Henderson it has been too, and you're quite right.
He went well.
Robinson just about gets to 50. The kick is no problem whatsoever. Thank you very much. First goal on the board goes to the Darwin Buffaloes, goes to Mitch Robinson. Nightcliff doing well in the forward line. Out they go. Is that inside? And the handball's a bit tough there. Picked up and running through into an open goal, and a lovely goal there, Nightcliff, and that was Bailey Edwards, and that's been okay. Goes to Stokes. That's Jared Stokes. Nice kick. Long kick forward, kicking pretty much in hope. Mitch Robinson down there gets the ball out, kick on goal. Holt Fitz, and he's even the ledger in the term. Liam Holt Fitz gets his first. Immediately playing. Well done to the umpire. He got onto that. And that is a goal. That is a wonderful, wonderful goal. That's Thomas Clark. At to score. It's Bailey Edwards. Big mark. Strong mark.
Strong mark, yeah.
Peter Politis. Politis can reduce it back to 6 points. Does it and does it beautifully. Well. Does it very, very well, Nick. By hand to more in hope than in anything else, although it might fall forward. Picked off the ground. Holt fits beautifully. Well done. And the Darwin Buffaloes, that was just such a well worked goal. And Antonio James gets his first for the game. Buffaloes. Collinson gets the ball out. Holt fits. Can he get 4? Can he get 4?
Got it.
Can he get 4? He can get 4. He has 4. Ball on the ground, picked up Holt Fitz, kicks on goal, up and under, went 15 metres, and a mark taken by Mitch Robinson.
Pin this one back.
Bookends for Robinson.
Yep.
Does it and does it well, as you suggested. They've got one in the first 2 minutes in, and now he's got one in the fourth. Kicks right to the goal line. Ball still in dispute. Handball out. Thomas Jock onto the left. I reckon he's nailed that. Goal umpire comes back to the right side, and he has. Philo inside. Oh, Matt Watkins dropped what he should have taken, and
Goal. Plays there from the Tigers back line then.
Henderson it has been too, and you're quite right.
Picked him out well.
Robinson just about gets to 50. The kick is no problem whatsoever. Thank you very much. First goal on the board goes to the Darwin Buffaloes, goes to Mitch Robinson. Nightcliff doing well in the forward line. Out they go. Is that inside? And the handball's a bit tough there. Picked up and running through into an open goal, and a lovely goal there, Nightcliff, and that was Bailey Edwards, and that's been okay. Goes to Stokes. That's Jared Stokes. Nice kick. Long kick forward. Kicking pretty much in hope. Mitch Robinson down there. Gets the ball out. Kick on goal. Holt Fitz. And he's even the ledger in the term. Liam Holt Fitz gets his first. Immediately playing. Well done to the umpire. He got onto that. And that is a goal. That is a wonderful, wonderful goal. That's Thomas Clark. At to score. It's Bailey Edwards. Big mark. Strong mark.
Strong mark, yeah.
Peter Politis. Politis can reduce it back to 6 points. Does it and does it beautifully. Well. Does it very, very well, Nick. By hand to more in hope than in anything else, although it might fall forward. Picked off the ground. Holt fits beautifully. Well done. And the Darwin Buffaloes, that was just such a well worked goal. And Antonio James gets his first for the game. Buffaloes. Collinson gets the ball out. Holt Fitz. Can he get 4? Can he get 4?
Got it.
Can he get 4? He can get 4. He has 4. Ball on the ground. Picked up Holt Fitz. Kicks on goal. Up and under. Went 15 metres. And a mark taken by Mitch Robinson.
Pin this one back.
Bookends for Robinson.
Yep.
Does it and does it well, as you suggested. They've got one in the first 2 minutes in, and now he's got one in the fourth. Kicks right to the goal line. Ball still in dispute. Handball out. Thomas Jock onto the left. I reckon he's nailed that. Goal umpire comes back to the right side,
Yes,
and he has. Philo inside. Oh, Matt Watkins dropped what he should have taken, and
Goal.
I think at St Mary's goes the little one down the middle, didn't go really well, but comes to Smithson. Smithson drives a long kick from 51 metres out, and well done to St Mary's. They get their second. They move.
Wills again, quick hands out to Baxter Mensch. Mensch's kick is chopped off. Ablett Jr. Turns and spins onto his left, over the top to Giverson. The crowd gives it an applause for the reward for the effort, and Giverson has a chance to go back and kick Palmerston's second goal. The 22-minute mark here at TIO Stadium in Darwin. Giverson's kick's pretty good, straight through the middle, and the Magpies get their second.
To his St Mary's teammate, put him under pressure. They've worked this out well. Comes to Paredes, comes to Salmon, and they've made absolutely something out of nothing here. Quarter over the back, and St Mary's have gone coast to coast, and Palmerston coach Joshy Heath will not be happy with that.
And a handball on it, pretty good play from there. Now it comes back in. Here they go. Jellyman Turner is run off the half-back, has a bounce from 50, lines up the goals. It's going to bounce through.
Just got through, snuck through. It's under pressure. Treacy there trying to paddle it through. Kicking in danger there from the runner in Wills. Treacy gets a handball through. Gibson gets it back. Now with Patrick. Patrick snaps on goal. And it's gone through.
Well, they had to work for it, but they got it in the end.
Darko Hesse's done really well on him when he's gone to him. Picked up there by Yaron, round on the right, boots. And he's kicked a ripper from 30 metres out, gives the crowd a salute, and that is exactly what St Mary's wanted in the start of this fourth quarter.
He's got Grenfell there, lets it bounce, so he's Calder. Calder gets it one hand, dragged off it. Quick hands though, play on is the call, advantage is there, and he's going to run into an open goal, I reckon. And that goal will go to Hillier. Cook punched over the top there was Tracy, can't get a complete possession, comes out to Lant on the left foot, puts it through and seals it.
Well, you're right, Ashley. That puts St Mary's up.
Runner, and that's Hillier. Hillier just spins and turns and then goes on again to Lant. Lant looked to go, now he does. left foot from 50 at goals. It's going to go long, and I reckon it's going to go through. Well, Dylan Lant proving his quality and class. 6 in that rep side is going to be hard to pick. There's about 4 or 5 very good defenders running around as it comes to Lant. Lant inside 50, shrugs off one, puts it on the left, goes at goals and puts it through.
His third for the night, and that one, surely that is the cherry on top.
Welcome back to TIO Stadium for this round 9 clash in the TIO NTFL Men's Premier League, where Nightcliff are taking on Wanderers, and Wanderers, having all the running in the first half, go into the start of this third quarter with a pretty handy 29-point lead. My name's Stu Davis, and plays underway in the third quarter as Nightcliff look to have thrown Big Butcher into the ruck, and he gets a hand pass forward, but it's hacked out of the centre there by Wanderers through Arben. But Nightcliff repel now off half-back. First to the ball out there is Curran for Wanderers. He's under plenty of pressure and manages to get it forward again. A strong tackle on the play here, and Thomas Motlop will be rewarded with the free kick just outside forward 50 on the outer side of the ground. He kicks the ball inside the corridor, inside forward 50, getting his hands on the ball and dribbling towards goal. It's going to go all the way. I think it's close. I think it's gone all the way through, and that was Jack Burke for Wanderers. So a great start in this second half to Wanderers, and the first goal on the board, and the task looked pretty steep for Nightcliff at half time, and looks even steeper after that flying start from Wanderers. But you just see here on the replay, it's a good kick under pressure, and the ball just kept rolling and rolling and rolling, and beat the Nightcliff defenders over the line. So no respite for Nightcliff in the opening minute of this third quarter. So from the restart, it's Butcher who wins a hit out, but it's read best down there by Boys for Wanderers. He got it over to Arben, who just chipped forward, didn't hit a teammate down there. Arben's involved again, and now picked up by Smith Thompson. He goes wide to the outer side of the ground. Ball spills forward in the marking contest to Stephen Motlop, who off one step just hacks it high and forward, and now the ball at ground level is picked up by Nathan Brown down there, gets a hand pass out into some space, picking up the ball, and then running back into traffic was Wines. He got caught with the ball, and the crowd called for holding the ball, but that's not the way the umpire saw it, and it'll be a ball up. Motlop in front doing the ruck work for Wanderers, and now he's got the ball trapped underneath him as the umpire will come in once again and ball up, where it's only about 20 metres out from the Wanderers goal. So no advantage in the ruck contest there. Brown reaches in and picks it up and then hacks the ball out of defence, and he finds a teammate on the outer side of the ground in Butler. Butler chips laterally to Wines, who goes around the boundary line, and Nightcliff just chippeting around that boundary line, and Eilert gets on the end of this one. He looks short again and hits his target, Butler. So they've worked the ball just forward to the centre wing, and now kicking inboard to Philo, who's directing some traffic. It's called to play on now, ducks back onto his right foot and then chips it out wide again, and Butler takes the mark out there, but not much happening in front of him as he looks to go short again, but that's one into the hands of the Wanderers defence, and they bring it away with a high up and under to the wing there. Wines read it best over the back, got the hand pass back to Nyhouse, and he chips inboard to Philo. Philo drills it inside forward 50, and that's a better forward entry, and Butcher gets on the end of that one. And as I said, Butcher has been thrown into the ruck, but pushed forward that time and got on the end of the forward entry. And obviously a renowned full forward, but looking to get Nightcliff's first goal on the board. He'll be kicking from just inside 50. It's high, looks pretty straight. If it's got the distance, it has got the distance, and that's Nightcliff's first goal for the game, coming at the 4.5 minute mark of the third quarter. So they've got some work to do, but that was a more promising build-up, and you just see on the replay here that it's Philo who's a beautiful user of the ball, and he just pinpointed Butcher inside forward 50 there, and they're on the board at last with their first major of the night. So it's a goal apiece early in this third quarter of the TIO NTFL Men's Premier League Round 9 match. Tigers and the Eagles as Butcher wins the hit out. Hartlett received the hand pass and then kicked forward, but Wanderers repelling once again, and Nathan Arben, who's been a good player all night, finds Bo O'Connell in the centre of the ground. O'Connell runs off now and kicks long straight down the centre of the ground, looking there for Motlop, but he couldn't get his hands to the ball, and Nightcliff defence working out a strong tackle there, and that's going to be rewarded as the ball spilled into Motlop's hands, but he was aware that the free kick would be paid, and it'll be Curran who laid that tackle, and he's rewarded with the free kick and will go back for the set shot from about 30 metres out, pretty much directly in front. So Wanderers looking to respond to that Nightcliff goal a minute or two ago. Chris Curran comes in now. It's out to the right a bit, but it's snuck inside the goalpost down there, and all of his teammates get around him. You sense that that might be his first goal for the club, as they're running from everywhere to give him a pat on the head, and a good finish after an excellent tackle to win the free kick. So Chris Curran gets amongst the goal kickers, and Wanderers stretch that lead out once again to 35 points in the early minutes of the third quarter here at TIO Stadium. Of course, round 9 is purple round, epilepsy awareness round, as a cause that is being brought to light, with epilepsy affecting a large percentage of the population, and Nightcliff win the clearance this time, straight down the middle of the ground. The ball slips out the back, and an opportunity here. Oh, clever work, but just couldn't get his foot to the ball there. Was Moody, and Wanderers tidy up and clear away. It was Wheater called his teammate out there and then spilt the mark, and here's a flying shot for goal. I think it's gone all the way through. It is, and Nightcliff on the board again. I'm just trying to pick up who the goal scorer was, and it looks like it might have been Nick Howe. We'll just see as McLean's kick came out here and the mark was spilt, and yeah, it was Nick Howe with a snapshot at goal from the tight angle. So after a pretty slow start in the first half, we're going goal for goal here in the third quarter, and at the 8-minute mark it's 2 goals apiece in the third quarter. And as I was saying, it's epilepsy round. 1 in 3 people with epilepsy will not gain full seizure control with medication. So it's a disease that affects a lot more people than we think, and this being awareness round, just to try to highlight the fact that it's prevalent in the community. But the play goes on as Butcher thumps it forward. Eilert, some clever work in front of the pack there, swings around on the right foot, kicks inside forward 50. Taylor thumps it away from behind. Diving in there was Smith Thompson, couldn't control the ball. It spills out now, and Harper gets the hand pass up, but Smith Thompson involved again, and now Wheater clears out of defence to the outer side of the ground. Running onto it out there is McMurray in front of Caleb Walker, but neither could keep the ball in play, and it'll be a boundary throw in on centre wing on the outer side of TIO Stadium. So from the boundary throw in, Adams just works his opponent under the ball and takes it in the ruck contest and kick forward Now Nightcliff looking to work the ball out of defence as it comes back to Nyhouse. He chips short, and Jackson takes the mark at half-back for Nightcliff. He goes short again and hits Howe, the last goal scorer. And he's just backward of centre wing on the outer side. Kicks high down the line and it's punched away from behind. Good use of the hands there. And Shane Thorne runs through past a couple of opponents and finds some space, kicks forward. Stephen Motlop on the end of this one has just got worried out of it in the end, and Nightcliff clear away out of defence with a long clearing kick. Butler over the top, punches into space, and Mitch Taylor's first there. Some strong work allows McLean to come through. He hand passes forward, and now the ball spills out towards the boundary line once again and over for another boundary throw in. So this is AFL&T's coverage of the 2023 TIO NTFL Men's Premier League Round 9 action here at TIO Stadium, the halfway mark of the season here in the top end. So Howe gets a quick kick forward, but Taylor chops it off once again, and this time he's just got a bit of physical pressure as he kicked on the left foot, pushed him off balance and kicked it out of bounds on the full, and now the chip pass comes in and Sam Harper takes the mark for Nightcliff just forward of the centre wing on the outer side. He goes wide again, looking for Eilert out there, but he was under plenty of pressure, and off hands the ball goes out of bounds once again. Jaden Adams for Wanderers and John Butcher for Nightcliff doing the ruck work. Adams gets in front, the ball comes over the back where Butcher got his hands to it. Bit of tunnel ball being played down there, and now a quick kick forward, and McLean for Wanderers comes across and passes the ball directly out of bounds under pressure. The umpire says that's all okay, and it'll be a boundary throw in once again. Butcher in front this time, hooks the ball over his head. Wheatra runs onto it for Wanderers, clears out of the defensive area towards the outer side wing, but first there for Nightcliff is Wines. His chip pass is good and finds Jackson out there. Jackson runs past the player on the mark now, kicks inside forward 50, ball over the top. Mitchell Taylor doing the heavy body work, dives in again to help his teammates out, but the ball couldn't come out, and it'll be a boundary, it'll be a ball up once again. Butcher just got pushed away from the contest there, still got his hand to the ball, but it spills out now, and Taylor comes in, picks up and then thumps the ball along the outer wing. Making good position out there was Wines, couldn't take the mark but recovered well, and he kicks along the line to Hartlett. Hartlett inside forward 50, the ball off hands over the back, and there's a number of bodies on the ground from that marking contest. Looks like Mitch Taylor's pretty slow getting up, but everything okay now, and it'll be a boundary throw in once again. A couple of players hobbling, including Brody Newman there. Looks like he's got one on the leg, but play goes on, and Butcher uses his strength, takes the ball out of the ruck contest, has a kick to goal, but just offline to the right and through for behind. So a much better showing from Nightcliff in this third quarter, but they really haven't made any ground on the scoreboard. 2 goals apiece in this third quarter as Braden McLean directs traffic and now chips the ball in out to defensive 50 line. Reaching in there was Caleb Walker, got the hand pass inboard, and now O'Connell under some pressure, hand passes out to Taylor. Taylor over the top to Matthew Motlop, who's found a bit of space, gets it by hand to Simpson. Simpson also by hand over the top, and O'Connell runs onto it kicks with the left foot to a one-on-one contest down here between wing and half forward, and Thomas Motlock got a fist to the ball, got it over the boundary line, and another boundary throw in as we approach the 15-minute mark of the third quarter, and it's Wanderers by 28 points. So boundary throw in falls short. Adams just picks it up and now passes over the top. O'Connell back to Butson, and now out wide to Thorne, who got caught out there, and Philo, who laid the tackle, picked up. His hand pass was a bit hot for his teammate, and slipped out and over for another boundary throw in. So Butler doing the ruck work now as he hooks it over the top. Oh, that tackle looked a bit high from Hartlett, it was, and it'll be a Wanderers free kick on the outer side of the ground right there. So the kick inside forward 50. At ground level, it's scooped up by Nyhouse. He goes long along the line, but only as far as Curran out there. Curran brings the ball back towards half forward, but Nightcliff strong in defence as Gow clears away, but kick's not particularly well directed as Taylor just scoops it out to the advantage of Curran, but Nightcliff players closed in and forced it over for another boundary throw in. 16.5 minutes into the third quarter here. It's Wanderers by 28 points and seemingly in control of the game at the moment. As the big fella Locke is back in doing the ruck work, almost a throw there, but play on's the call. Bo O'Connell almost had an air shot, but gets it out to Butson eventually with a clever tap over the top. Again, attempted air shot, and now Motlock kicks off the ground inside forward 50. Ball spills out the back, and Nyhouse doing the tidying up work for Nightcliff. Kicks it back in a dangerous position. Thomas Motlock has read that well as Nyhouse was trying to get the ball to Bailey Edwards, but kicking it at right angles really, and Thomas Motlock pounced on it and took a good contested mark about 35 metres out from goal, and taking plenty of time over this one. I think just getting his breath back, and he looks pretty confident as he comes in. He's got a player running outside him down here, but he's going to take the set shot now. Kicks long towards goal. I think it's just fading left, and that's missed to the left hand side and through for a behind only. 7-6 Wanderers to Nightcliff 2-7, and Nyhouse bringing the ball back in, just trots out of the goal square, has a bounce, and then chips the ball to Vile. Vile goes around the boundary line, and Nightcliff again, not much urgency on the ball as they advance the ball around the outer wing. Getting onto the end of it out there was Howe. He hand passed over the top, but now a quick kick forward round the outer side, and Braden McLean standing all by himself just gobbles that one up, and now chips the ball inside to Wheatra, and Wheatra going straight down the ground. He's got a player in some space down here, and Nightcliff just Wanderers just pounded inside forward 50, but good defensive work, and Nyhouse got on the end of it and kicks back into a bunch of players, but Politis runs around and then kicks forward, and now a chance for Nightcliff again. They're lining up in the centre of the ground, but Big Butcher just gets it over the top of Taylor there, and he's been moved back forward and made good position. Thought Taylor might have been getting a hand to it for a while there, but just had enough on it to get over the top, and Butcher takes the mark directly in front, only about 25 metres out. So he's got one goal already this quarter, going for his second, and makes no mistake, straight through for another goal to Nightcliff, their third for the quarter, and just narrows that margin fractionally back down to 23 points. So in the context of the game, Wanderers seem to have seem to have control, but really it's only less than a 4-goal margin, so we know that there's some talent in the Nightcliff side and some firepower. If they can string a few together, they will still be right in the contest. And now Butcher's gone back into the ruck to do battle against Ed Simpson for Wanderers. As we just tick into time on in this third quarter, Simpson reaches over the top and taps it down. There's a free kick for holding here. It's going Bo O'Connell's way. He wastes no time and runs away. Thumps the ball long inside forward 50 right down to the top of the goal square. Working back there for Nightcliff was Wines, and he's done well to clear out of defensive 50. The ball ricochets into the hands here and of Jackson, who chips the ball inboard, but read well by Newman, and his pass inside forward 50 finds Marlon Motlop, and a chance to just settle things down for Wanderers, as Nightcliff have kicked the last 2 goals of the game, and Motlop taking plenty of time. He'll be kicking from just outside 50. So runs to the 50-metre line, kicks high, it's drifting across the face there, and slips over the back and through for a behind only. So behind to Wanderers makes it an even 4-goal margin at the 21-minute mark of the third quarter. Nighthouse again with the kicking in duties. He runs grandstand side this time and kicks close to the boundary line, and thumped away there by Simpson into the grandstand, and it'll be a boundary throw in as players have time to get themselves in position ready for the stoppage contest. Simpson wins the hit out over the back. At ground level, caught with the ball there was Boys, but no opportunity to get rid of it. It's strong tackle by Jackson. As again the ball's caught in underneath at the stoppage. This umpire's going to pay a free kick this time for dragging the ball in and not getting it out, and it's going to be Thomas Boys who will take the free kick for Wanderers. He looks to move the ball on quickly and long down to the right forward pocket. Getting across there and getting a fist to it was Stanley Cox for Nightcliff, and saw it over the boundary line for another boundary throw in. 23 minutes into the third quarter, and it's a boundary throw in the right forward pocket. For Wanderers, hit out comes over the back. Nighthouse on the left foot. Oh, Bose there just ducked in and got caught high. Free kick wasn't paid, and now hand pass comes across. A long kick going all the way to the goal line. I think it's gone just to the right, and that was a good long kick again by Chris Curran for Wanderers, but just offline as Brown kicks the ball in this time and finds his teammate in Craik. Craik has a runner on the outside, and he finds Vile at halfback. He's pleading with players to lead for him, but his kick just a bit too high for his teammate, and Dylan Dos Santos comes over the top and thumps it over the boundary line and over the fence, and one of the players is going to have to go and recover the ball here. So deep into the third quarter in this TIO NTFL men's round 9 Premier League match between Nightcliff and Wanderers. As I said, round 9, and the completion of round 9 marks the halfway mark of the NTFL season, and a couple of weeks away from the Christmas break, of course, as Brown gets on the end of this hit out and kicks high around the boundary line. Newman over the top punches forward. That looks like a high tackle out there. It is, and Jackson will take the free kick out there just forward of the centre of the wing. He chips the ball into Butler, and Butler quickly kicks the ball inside forward 50. Braden McLean working back there, couldn't take the mark, but now recovers well and just runs the ball over the boundary line for another boundary throw in. Oh no, the free kick's been paid for deliberate out of bounds here, so it's Hamish Hartlett who'll take that free kick. I thought McLean was a bit casual taking it over the line, and it really wasn't under much pressure. So Hartlett on a really acute angle out there in the right forward pocket. Looks pretty determined to take the shot at goal though, as he comes in now, just lays it across his boot. I think he's got that a bit narrow, through for a behind as the siren goes to end the third quarter, a quarter in which Nightcliff outscored Wanderers 3-2, but it's Wanderers with the healthy advantage at three-quarter time, leading 7-8-50 to Nightcliff 3-8-26. And that's three-quarter time here in the round 9 clash. We'll be back shortly with the last.
This afternoon here at TIO Stadium. To the left of your radio they go.
Wow, what a goal to start the game.
Beautiful. Goes for home and has nailed an absolute ripstorter. From the pocket, and he's kicked an absolute ripper.
Welcome back to TIO Stadium for round 9 action in 2022-23 NTFL Men's Premier League season, where at three-quarter time we see Wanderers with a 4-goal advantage going into this last quarter, and Nightcliff, having won the third quarter by 3-2, have still got the task in front of them as the ball spills out here to Wheater. He just shrugs off a couple of opponents and then kicks the ball forward, and the ball loose on the ground. Stephen Motlop involved, Marlon Motlop there, Thomas Motlop smothers, and Wines takes possession of the ball and gets wrapped up in the tackle. So plenty of Motlops around for Wanderers as usual, and 3 of them all together in the action there. But we've got a stoppage here, and Marlon Motlop doing the rock work, taps it out to Thomas. Thomas with the snapshot at goal, looks good. And the veteran, I'm sure he won't mind me calling him a veteran, gets on the end of that, and he's been pretty good for Wanderers tonight, offering a contest down forward on a number of occasions. And yeah, Nightcliff would have been looking for a fast start to get themselves involved back in on the scoreboard, but you just see here that clever work, Marlon Motlop, not a player you would normally regard as a tap ruckman, but did the job there, got it out to Thomas, and Thomas made no mistake for Wanderers and stretches that lead out to 5 goals. Shane Thorne in camera shot there, and another veteran for Wanderers who's out on the wing and had a pretty good game tonight. Had a fair bit of the ball as from the restart. Boys gets his hands on the ball but can't get it out. Eventually Big Simpson gets it and kicks out wide, where Wheater gets a quick kick forward. Bo O'Connell running onto it inside forward 50, kicks high on the left foot towards the top of the goal square. Ball spills to the front and ricochets off a couple of Nightcliff players and through for a rush behind, as Ryan Nyhouse will bring the ball back into play. Really not much to go to in front of him, and that's been pretty much the story of the night for Nightcliff. They just haven't had the movement ahead of the ball, and now he finds something that he likes, kicks out wide and finds Brown, who's just outside of defensive 50. He chips short over the top and finds Wines down there. Wines chips inboard to Eilert, racking up the possessions but not making much ground advantage here, and so they eventually get it around to the outer wing where Politis finds some space, kicks long to half forward, but that's easily chopped off by Smith Thompson, who chips out wide to Newman. Newman goes around the boundary line, and again not much pressure on as Boys gets a hand pass over the top to Wheater. Wheater kicks inside forward 50 now, and punched away in the contest down there. Stephen Motlop just scoops it out of the back, trying to get it to Thomas. Working over the ball was White, but he got worried out of it, and eventually it spills out to Eilert, who kicks inboard looking for Philo. Philo got some contact there, and he'll take the free kick. He chips outside to Eilert once again, and Eilert goes around the boundary line on the outer side. Mitch Taylor, ever reliable defender, gets another fist to the ball and gets it over the boundary line, and he'll jog back into defensive 50 and set himself up to be ready for the next one coming in. But meanwhile it's a boundary throw in, and Adams is up against Butcher. Butcher uses his strength to get Adams out of the way. Clever use of the hands over the top there by Moody to Butcher, but eventually they lose control of the ball, and Wanderers bring it away again through Curran, and he finds Stephen Motlop just forward of the centre wing. Motlop, the standing start, kicks high inside forward 50. Ball brought down at the front of the pack where Harper was involved, and now eventually the ball comes out to Edwards. Edwards kicks out into some space where he's got a running player out here in Nick Howe. Howe picks the ball up, chips the ball along the line, and Sean Wilson takes the mark out in front He's looking for something a bit deeper, but hasn't got much to go to, but he's bundled over after he kicked the ball, and that'll be a relayed free kick down the ground, which is probably a bit fortunate for Nightcliff, because they weren't really in position to take it. But Hamish Hartlett it is who will receive the free kick, and he'll be kicking from about 35 metres out on a pretty tight angle. He looks like he'll take the shot at goal from out there in the right forward pocket. Kicks on its way. It looks pretty good. I think it is good. That he's just snuck that one inside the left-hand goal post. It's a quality finish, and that's an answer to the Thomas Motlop goal early in the quarter. So a goal apiece in this second quarter, 5.5 minutes in, and see Wilson here just knocked over as the ball came in, and his teammates not very happy with Dylan Dos Santos there for giving away that free kick, but a goal on the board to Nightcliff. So 1 goal apiece in this final quarter, and we're back in the centre of the ground for the restart. Butcher just thumps it forward, and running off the line there was Moody. He got caught, but back in the action now. The ball spills over the top. Jackson does well to get the hand pass out, but it's cut off, and Wanderers take it away down towards half forward. McMurray there on the half volley did pretty well, hand passed and then received back, and now just bombs a kick high in towards half forward. Brown out there thumps the ball away, but it's Wanderers first to it now as the Motlops combine to try to work the ball inside, but Nathan Brown once again bundles Marlon Motlop over the boundary line, and it will be a boundary throw in. So Marlon and Thomas have done a bit of the ruck work forward tonight, which is a bit unusual, and Marlon's put his hand up again here. That's a throw that doesn't advantage any of the ruck, but picked up and thumped back inside, but that's going out towards the boundary line and bounces just inside and over on the first bounce for another boundary throw in. So a pretty untidy forward entry there by Wanderers, and another boundary throw in inside forward 50 for Wanderers. This time the ball slips out here to Boys, who kicks down towards the goal line, but just falls short, and this is going to be a deliberate free kick paid against Stanley Cox, who's been adjudged to have just walked it over the boundary line without much pressure, and Stephen Motlop takes full advantage there, plays on straight away, hooks it over his shoulder and through for a gift of a goal really. So Motlop with his second goal on the board, and Wanderers look to be leading pretty comfortably now with a 5-goal lead, a 32-point lead early in this final quarter. So it's Wanderers 9-10-64 leading Nightcliff 4-8-32 at the 8.5 minute mark of this final quarter in the last game of round 9 in the NTFL season. Butler wins the hit out. Philo runs onto it and then hooks the ball out towards the boundary line. Thorns first there, got his hands to the ball, couldn't take the mark, and it's just seen over the boundary line there by Ryan Moo. And another boundary throw in right at the interchange goats here right in front of the grandstand at TIO Stadium. So the boundary throw in hit out's won by Butcher. Got it out in front of Nick Howe, but just couldn't keep it in play. So it'll be another boundary throw in a couple of metres further forward for Nightcliff. Butcher just taps it down in front of himself, but lurking there was Arbin for Wanderers. He got the kick forward. Bo O'Connell involved, lays the tackle now. The ball spills forward. Cameron Eilert gets met pretty heavily down there at ground level. Philo just fished it out the back, but now a hand pass over the top goes to Ryan Moo, who ducks back outside and then kicks inside forward 50. There's a free kick here for holding. It's going Nightcliff's way, and it looks like Harry Butler will take that free kick. No, in fact it's Sean Wilson who is the recipient of the free kick, and he'll take the set shot from just inside forward 50. So drag that one across the front of the goal, and Wheatra gets back, gets a fist to the ball and knocks it over the boundary line. So a boundary throw in about 10 metres around from the left hand behind post in Nightcliff's attacking area at the airport end of the ground in the final quarter here. So Butcher just thumps it out the back looking for Eilert there. Pretty clever hit out, but Wanderers defenders weren't awake to it, and the ball gets trapped underneath, and it'll be a ball up. So Locke doing the ruck work for Nightcliff. Hartlett runs onto it, gets a hand pass out now. A snapshot on the left foot is just going to lob at the top of the goal square. There's a huge pack of players around the ball. As working in underneath was Arbin again, got the hand pass out, but now Matthew Motlop does pretty well to scoop in and get the hand pass forward, but it's chopped off by Wines, who goes back towards half forward where Craik takes the mark. His kick is not the best, and now Stephen Motlop working back in defence clears to the outer side of the ground where there's a bit of space if ball can be kept in play, and they do with a couple of sockers off the ground. And now we've got a contest deep in the forward line, and good defensive work down there by Gow, got it through the hands, and eventually it's Vile who clears for Nightcliff round the outer side, and he finds Butler on the outer wing. Butler chips the ball inboard, and the mark's taken there by Eilert. Eilert chips it forward again, and Politis gets on the end of this, kicks inside forward 50. The ball spills over the back to Butcher. Butcher with the snapshot towards goal is just hasn't got enough purchase on it, fell short, and thumped through for a rush behind. So good work in defence by Matthew Motlop, working back, playing the goalkeeper role, and just punched it through for a rush behind, and Mitchell Taylor brings it in, but again not much pressure on the leading Wanderers players for the kick in, and Nathan Arbin takes that mark uncontested, and just has a look around and then decides to go outer side of the ground. Stephen Motlop in front there, the ball slips over the back. Eilert gets the hand pass over the top, and now the kick inboard finds the big fella Locke, Jackson Locke. He kicks it out in front of Butcher. Butcher on the second grab, got it taken off him by Sean Wilson, who snaps towards goal, and just missed to the right hand side. So Butcher looked like he was going to complete the mark after juggling it a few times, but Wilson just took it away and snapped towards goal, but just couldn't quite bring it back far enough, and a behind only. So McLean for Wanderers goes outer side of the ground this time. Ball knocked forward, and trying to burst through down there was Boys. He gave the donut view and then got the hand pass forward, but free kick's been found, and it's Lincoln Lewis who takes that free kick, kicks to towards the boundary line on the outer side. Thomas Motlop involved out there, but couldn't keep the ball in play, and another boundary throw in. So it's Wanderers by an even 5 goals at the 14.5 minute mark of the final quarter. Philo with the clearance there, just a chip kick forward over his shoulder But again, there's plenty of players around the ball and no one can break free as Cameron Islet's wrapped up in the tackle. And another ball up between the centre of the ground and the outer wing. But again, it's plenty of players around the pack and no clear advantage to anyone getting it loose. It comes out now and Howe runs away, hooks a kick forward. Reading it there was Brodie Newman, looked to have his jumper pulled. Play on's the call as the ball spills to ground. There's a free kick here for holding and it's going to go to Ed Simpson this time. In fact, it's a free kick for a push and it's going Nightcliff's way to Nathan Brown. He hand passes off to Philo outside of him and Philo kicks forward to Islet, who found some space at half forward. He chips the ball inside forward 50 now and taking a diving mark on the lead is Hamish Hartlett, and Hartlett will go back and have another set shot for goal. The man on the mark is about 40 metres out from goal, so Hartlett has kicked one goal in this quarter already from the opposite side of the ground, but coming in now and looking for his second for the match. Kicks on the way, it looks close. I think the goal umpire likes it. He snuck that one inside the left-hand goalpost, so Hamish Hartlett has kicked Nightcliff's 2 goals in this final quarter, and that evens up the ledger for the quarter, 2 goals apiece, as Nightcliff just chip away at that margin, get it back to a 4-goal margin. But with 16 and a half minutes gone, you would think the task is beyond them to reel in the advantage that Wanderers have got. And Wanderers have played a pretty controlled game tonight and will deserve their victory. But still time to play out as we look for the restart here in the centre of the ground. Butcher's in there again. He wins the hit out down and now tries to hack it out of the air off the ground, but coming in was his opposite number, Adams. And Nightcliff eventually work it through the hands, and Moody just kicks this ball straight up in the air. It's not going to be a mark, hasn't travelled the required distance, and now the ball spills out. Hand pass comes out from Boys out the back. Mitchell Taylor slung off the ball without having possession, and now Shane Thorne looking to take the advantage, but then really didn't have anywhere to go. Slows things up. Hand passes across to Arbin, who chips it forward. And Stephen Motlop is going to go 30 metres backwards to find a teammate here at half back, and they just settle things down, and the chip pass comes into Dos Santos in the centre of the ground there. He's going backwards another 30 metres, and Motlop chips it laterally to Brodie Newman, who had some space at half back. It's got Motlop's run forward again, Matthew Motlop, but instead chooses to go looking for McMurray down there. The ball spilt through his hands as Nick Howe came in to tidy up for Nightcliff, and his kick found Hartlett in the marking contest at half forward. He looks to move the ball on quickly, but under pressure couldn't bring it back far enough and just left it hanging out to the right for a behind. And there's a Nightcliff player on the ground, got crunched in that marking contest, and a bit slow to get up as Wanderers just chip it around in the back half again. Matthew Motlop this time goes wide to the outer wing, just nudging his opponent under the ball. There was Jaden Adams, but the ball flew over the top and bounced over the boundary line for a boundary throw in once again. So in front of the old TIO Stadium scoreboard on the outer side of the ground, Adams gets to the front, but Philo read it off hands and chipped it forward. There's a free kick on being paid again for holding here. It's Jackson who'll take that free kick. He wastes no time getting it long inside forward 50, thumped away from behind. Hartlett at the front, tries to get past an opponent, gets the hand pass across, and he finds his teammate Sean Wilson down there, who makes no mistake on the left foot from the top of the goal square. So a pretty good contested effort and good use of the hands there by Hartlett to get it across to Wilson, who made no mistake. It was Philo, of course, who got the long kick in, and you just see on the replay here Hartlett just get his hands free in the tackle and then hand passed across, and Wilson did the rest with a nice finish. So that reduces the margin to 17 points as we tick into time on in this final quarter, and maybe there is still some hope for the Nightcliff supporters in the crowd. They've kicked the last couple of goals of the game and winning the quarter again so far. So Butcher in the ruck up against Adams, and Butcher again wins the hit out as the ball spills back inside, and Moody in there with some strength runs through, kicks long towards half forward. Wilson out in front, the ball spills forward to Howe, who got caught with the ball, and it'll be a Wanderers free kick at half back. So Dos Santos chips the ball inboard, and he finds Curran, who switches laterally again and finds Mitch Taylor on the outer side of the ground. He goes along the wing looking for Wheater down there, and he just pushes his opponent out the way, picks up the ball and now streams forward and kicks long inside forward 50. The ball slips over the back where Marlon Motlop's going to be first to it. He's under plenty of pressure though, gets it by hand. Eilert in there just drags it back in and then gets a kick forward to the advantage down here of Moody. Moody switches into the centre corridor, but the kick's okay, and Ryan Moo takes the mark in the back half of the ground. He chips the ball forward, but that's under plenty of pressure. O'Connell gets on the end and gets a chip kick forward, but some good defensive work down there by Gow, getting his fist to the ball, thumps it over the boundary line, and it'll be a boundary throw in once again at half forward for Wanderers at the Michael Long centre end of the ground. So from the boundary throw in, Simpson reaching from behind now picks up the loose ball and kicks high towards goal. It's going across the face and through for a behind. So a 3-goal margin at the 22.5 minute mark of the final quarter, as the chip kick comes out here to James Gow for Nightcliff, and again he's just waiting for players to get into position, not too many options, decides to go long to down to the wing here. Moody comes in, gets a kick that's smothered. Hand pass comes back from Adams, looking there for Newman. Newman's set upon by a couple of Nightcliff players, but the ball's caught in underneath, and it'll be a ball up once again as Hamish Hartlett just hands it back to the umpire here, just inside the boundary line, grandstand side. Bo O'Connell at the bottom of the pack there, working hard, and I think that's come off his toe and over the boundary line on the full. Unfortunately, he was making the play there, trying to keep it in, but Daniel Jackson will take the free kick here. He kicks down towards the 50-metre line. The ball slips over the back where Newman's waiting for it, and now he switches to the outer side of the ground. That's a good pass and finds Daniel Wheater over the back there, and Wheater will look to chip it around it again as Taylor gets it by hand to Curran, and Curran hand passes back over the top to Taylor. They're running themselves into trouble out here, and now Sean Wilson comes in and tidies up for Nightcliff, and they've got a chance to go forward again, and they do. They go long inside forward 50. Butcher gets himself under it. The ball's punched away, but working back there is ever reliable Braden McLean, and his chip kick just falls short of Mitch Taylor but bounces into his hands, and now he swings around and sees something he likes close to the boundary line on the outer side, and Wanderers really intent on slowing this game down, winding the clock down, and getting themselves the 4 points as the chip pass comes in and Marlon Motlop takes the mark again. So 24.5 minutes into the final quarter. We've had 5 goals in this quarter. Shouldn't go too much longer, I wouldn't think, and Wanderers will earn themselves a much needed victory, and Stephen Motlop swings around on the right foot, keeps deep inside forward 50, but all the players are up the ground, and only Luke Wines back there for Nightcliff as he kicks to the grandstand side of the ground where Craik is running for him. He kicks it out in front of Cam Eilert, but overruns the ball. Some good work back there by Ankin Lewis for Wanderers, and his kick is chopped off by Gow. Once again, Gow switches to the outer side of the ground where Nathan Brown has found some space, and he takes the mark, but just looking at the options that he's got, sees that there's not much, but now he finds a player in some space, but the ball spills off the chest. Kick comes inside forward 50 again now, and there's a free kick here being paid against the Wanderers defender Dylan Dos Santos for holding, and it's going to go to Sean Wilson once again. So a chance to really narrow this margin, but too little too late, I would think, as Wilson goes back and now has his shot at goal. He makes no mistake, straight through the middle, and so all of a sudden the margin is back to just 12 points, but the siren goes to end the game. Wanderers have done enough to hold on, and they've won the game by 12 points in the end. Nightcliff a bit better showing in the second half, but that's the 4th loss in a row for them, and they've got some homework to do to start making an impact coming towards finals. So at TIO Stadium here in this round 9 clash between Nightcliff and Wanderers, it's Wanderers victorious 9-11-65 to 7-11-53. Thanks for viewing, and we'll see you next week for round 10 of TIO NTFL action.